We are not doing our traditional racing flags. We are instead doing a set of seeds actually piloted and designed by Drew and other members of the community. So instead of, you'll notice 7 characters, 10 espers, it's actually 10 espers, 3 character start. And it looks like we've got Realm and Sabin to start with. So how would you feel about a Realm Sabin start there, Vamp?
Not too bad. You have a few nice, easy checks on the World of Balance. When you have savings this early in the game, sometimes it's really good to go straight to the World of Ruin and go for that burning building, like I believe Mr. Entity might be doing, because it's a free check if you don't go for those monsters in the boxes.
Absolutely. A couple other things to note about this particular flag set. So not only is it 3 characters, 10 espers, but also the enemy scaling is your progress times 3. So enemies will be getting a little bit stronger than normal. The dragons and Kefka himself are unscaled. You also start with no equipment at all. So, no starting gear for anybody. So we are looking for any sorts of gear for our characters here. And as I say that, Drew picks up a force armor. Cool.
Yeah, force armors. Oh, and a fixed dice. That's a good start right there.
Yeah, that fixed dice, they do tend to fall off later in the seed as things go on. But at the start, they do ridiculous amounts of damage because they ignore defense and are just generally useful.
Alright, so we're about to see the reward for the burning building on Drew's screen right now. And Mr. Entity, we're almost synced up.
At the same time, Fraggle just showed us in the South Figaro shops, there are Valiant knives for sale.
Oh, very nice.
Valiant Knife, another one of those weapons that ignores enemy defense, just like the fixed dice, in fact. And the more of your HP you are missing, that is just added to your damage. So that means the Valiant Knife can get ridiculously powerful very, very quickly.
So it looks like we just got Carbuncle from the burning building.
Has anyone given us a peek at to what it actually gives us?
It was a little quick.
Missed it. And so it looks like we have a little bit of divergence here, but interestingly, both Fraggle and Zelfer went for South Figaro and are clearing that out, while Drew and Entity were going for the collapsing house check. No one immediately went to Narsh. That's often one of the early checks, and Drew just found Super Balls.
It often is one of the early checks. However, I think some people are becoming more fond of doing the South Figaro checks really quick at the beginning now. So they're kind of going in way different directions now. This is where it kind of starts getting interesting.
Yeah, and this is where it gets occasionally hard to follow, both as a commentator and tracker and as an audience member, when we've got 4 different people going 4 different directions and we don't know which one's going to be the breakthrough. We've got Drew checking out Esper Mountain, which appears to be giving us Edgar. I believe I just saw an Edgar flash by there really quickly.
Yep, I think that's Edgar.
Entity is now going and clearing out Narsh. Fraggle is checking the chests and shops in Albrook, while Zelfer finishes up the South Figaro checks.
Looks like we have an Ultros. And an Ultros location. This is even randomized.
Is this the right Ultros for here?
It is.
Yes, it is. Look at that. Ooh, that realm surviving with 1 HP. So Drew is trying to do the, I guess, quote unquote, intended strategy for this boss, having Realm Sketch.
However, Realm is pretty low level, and Sketch is a harder one to hit with if you're that low.
Yeah, I'm not sure that he'll be able to chew through this spot's HP, even, or anyway. Because I believe in the vanilla, this Ultros has some like 20 or 30,000 HP because he's designed to be beaten with the one-shot Sketch.
Right.
There we go. But, tell that to, vanilla speedrunners. They just break rods over that Ultros' head.
Mm-hmm.
And there we go. Drew has his third character. That means Drew is now only looking for Espers, and he will be on his way to Kefka's Tower. Not that that means much right now. I imagine he'll find a few more characters on the way.
Oh, for sure. And with Edgar, you got some nice, easy, quick free checks. And you also get the discount at South Figaro and Figaro Castle as well.
Yep. I do always like, when I get Edgar like this, I like doing all three of his checks at once.
Mm-hmm.
Just sort of rolling them into one big check. I treat it sort of like the Magitech Factory. I just do all three of these things at once.
Probably go to Figaro Basement first, don't you?
Yes.
Yep.
Yes, I do.
So the other good thing to note is you have to have Edgar at the front of your party. So you have to be walking around with him on your overworld map to get your discounts at your stores.
If you don't, you will get the dialogue, but you won't get the discount. If he's just in your party, they're going to talk about giving you a discount, but they won't actually do it.
Mm-hmm.
So it looks like both Entity and Fraggle have decided to do a little bit of grinding. Just trying to get a few levels, it appears.
So this is probably where I would start actually checking monsters in boxes. Like if I don't have a fixed dice or a weapon that merits me, using the 4x fight, I'm probably not going to be looking at those boxes. But since they found one so early, I would be checking everyone for a Katana Soul.
I mean, yeah, if you can get that offering, that's going to do a lot of work for you with these fixed dice. Because fixed dice are also not affected by the halving of damage that offering does. So just another reason why fixed dice are a little busted. Let's see, Zelfer's doing a little bit of shopping right now. Let's see what he is trying to buy. He is buying some earrings. Looks like Zelfer is planning on doing a magic-based strat. Those earrings are going to increase the damage that he can do quite significantly.
Super Balls, they're not too expensive.
They're not too expensive, but I don't know. In my experience, they've always just been a feel bad. Mm-hmm. I almost always roll 256 on those. And nothing else. For those who are unaware, Super Balls are an item you can use in battle, and there are like Super Balls all over the world. There are at least 2 shops that Drew has walked into with Super Balls.
Mm-hmm.
Sorry, I got distracted in the middle of my sentence there. Super Balls do a random multiplier of 256 as their damage to a random number of enemies. That's all they do.
Yep, that's really all they do. It's kind of like using the fixed dice, only more random and less consistent. But they are good to have, in your back pocket if you come across a boss where you need to ignore physical defense and you don't have any sort of attack like that, that's where those are going to come in handy.
Right. So it looks like Fraggle is cleaning out the returner's hideout. Another good place for just clearing out some items. We found an experience egg and put that immediately on Sabin. That's going to double the XP that Sabin gets, and will, hopefully catapult that Sabin up to a really high level. Hasn't found any Espers yet, so won't be able to do any Esper training on that Sabin until he gets an Esper later, for speed plus or strength plus or magic power up. But really, the way the formulas work in this game, levels are more important than your stats. So even if you don't have a stat boosting Esper, just toss on that experience egg, get enough levels, and it doesn't matter. You're gonna blow through everything.
Yep. So it looks like we have a Mog at the Figaro basement. Looks like Drew's route right now is going to feel pretty smooth, because then he'll be able to go back to Narshe and do the Lone Wolf events and the Kefka and Narshe event at the same time, and that's always kind of good to kind of rope those in together.
Absolutely. My thought is, if I'm going down that screen anyway, I might as well do the Kefka at Narshe battle while I'm going.
Ooh, that Ragnarok right there.
That is always a chest that I forget exists.
It's just it's definitely a gamble. It's gonna eat up some time going all the way up those stairs for the one chest.
Zelfir opens up that Narshe monster in a box and finds a Gigantos. Lots of XP. But
Tons of XP.
Not an easy fight.
Tons of punching power, too.
And it looks like Drew has found a different kind of tentacles at the tentacle spot. He found that Ultros who survived exactly one Super Ball. Good job, Squid.
Looks like Fraggle is still on the grind with that the new experience egg.
Yeah, interestingly enough, he's actually fighting a Prussian who is one of the rages I always like to see on Gao.
Mm-hmm.
So, if he finds a Gao and Gao doesn't have anything good, it's possible to go to the Veld and get that Prussian for Landslide, which is basically just a better flare.
Yeah, Prussian's very good. All right, we're coming up on a new check on Zelfir's screen. This is the our Imperial camp.
Ooh, Drew from the Figaro throne just got. Not only did he get Golem as the Esper, which is great, but also it has at least one tier 3 spell and magic power +1. So he threw that immediately on Realm.
Yeah, that's a very good find.
And it looks like Drew is not did not put Edgar in front, so isn't getting that discount from these shops.
Looks like we got Starlet, the Esper from the Imperial camp on Zelfir's screen.
Magic power +1 and fire 2. Not something that I'm really sad about seeing. And it looks like Carbuncle had flare. So these magic power Espers are doing pretty well for our runners. Looks like magic might be a viable strat to get through the game this time.
Yes, yeah, especially paired with those earrings that Zelfir bought earlier. It's definitely going to help them out in the long run.
Yep, a pair of earrings is just going to add a 5/4 multiplier to all of his magic rolls, which is pretty good.
And I guess Chad is asking us if early Bum Rush is on.
It is not. Bum Rush is still the last one you have to get.
Alright, so I saw Mr. Entity. I think he just equipped a Thief Knife on Realm, which I actually really like, equipping the Thief Knife this early on in a seed and letting my party just kind of go to town on every enemy just in case, you know, I need some extra items or, you know, I'm running low on cash. So definitely a good strat to kind of fill up your inventory. But if you're trying to run a party like that with just 2 characters and you're looking to equip, say, Ragnarok on your realm, all you need is that merit award, I believe, and you should be able to equip the Ragnarok.
That is true. Merit Award is not technically useless, but it is not nearly as good as one is led to believe.
Right.
Drew is doing the Ancient Castle check, and looks like he's looking for that Katana Soul as well, trying to get an offering to pair with his fixed dice, but instead finds a Telstar, which I believe gives a green beret, if I remember correctly.
That sounds about right.
Which, in these particular flags, when you don't start with any equipment, green berets are decent, and, you know, I wouldn't say no to one.
They're definitely a good mid-tier helm.
And speaking of good rages to find, Zelfir is finding Retainer. So once again, if based on what our runners are finding, if they find a Gao, they can equip him with some good rages. I doubt anyone is going to take the time to do so.
Probably not. But turning your Gao into General Leo is always a good time.
It's always fun. Looks like we've got a Mount Colts check coming in from Fraggle. I think Fraggle is just not using the Moogle Charm and just trying to sort of grind as he goes, instead of like dedicating a time or place to grind at some point. At the same time, Mr. Entity has found a Celis on the Phantom Train. So that is Mr. Entity's third character. And hopefully he's going to show us a few checks that we haven't seen yet. We're looking at the Opera, the Magitech Factory, and that South Figaro cell for Celis. She comes with a lot of very valuable checks.
Ooh, so we have dried meat on Mr. Entity's screen.
Is he going to buy it, or is he going to leave it?
He already has one in his inventory.
Ah. You know, dried meat, always good to have, just in case you find that Gao. You don't have to go hunting for dried meat to do his check.
And that was on the Phantom Train.
Yes.
Alright, Fraggle, checking a chest that I like to check. Not many runners actually go to this chest in Mount Colts, though. It's kind of out of the way.
It's a little out of the way, particularly when we have the chests randomized. It's very good in the vanilla game because it's an Atlas armlet, which at that point in time is very, very useful to put on Edgar in the speedrun, as it increases his auto crossbow damage, which is really powerful at this point. Fraggle also finds himself a Minerva, which is great for Realm. One of the best pieces of armor in the entire game.
Yeah, Fraggle won't be removing that Minerva of all this game.
No. That Minerva is staying on. It gives a whole bunch of elemental immunities and a bunch of really good stats. There's just nothing to complain about a Minerva. Yes. So one other thing to note about this, chat just brought this up, is that in this particular set of flags, random encounters have a 20% chance of being a boss.
See, that's always fun.
See, I enjoy that, but I'm just, here I am, the commentator. I just like watching our runners struggle. Because you know me, I'm the kindest person in Worlds Collide.
Absolutely, one of the best, right? So we have Flame Eater on one screen and Doomgaze on the other. It's kind of risky to go up against Doomgaze this early on because that level 5 Doom can get you real quick. And it only takes a few levels to kind of set yourself up for failure. So it's always kind of good to keep an eye out for what your characters are at. And, if you're all at even zeros on your level base, you might want to just fight one encounter before approaching a boss.
Yep. I'm not sure if you caught it, but Fraggle has been using Realm Sketch a lot, which is something I would be careful with in general because, Sketch has a history of being awful. But Fraggle sketched one of the bombs, and guess what happens when you sketch a bomb?
It explodes.
You use Exploder on yourself.
Mm-hmm. So, actually a really good strat against bombs like that is casting confusion on everything. So if you have like a noise blaster, it's great. You're just gonna make them explode on each other.
That is certainly an option. I don't think Fraggle has picked up a noise blaster yet for his Edgar.
Sure, I've seen noise blaster at least in one of the shops that they pass by.
Yeah, that's one of those things. If I either have a whole more money than I know what to do with, or if I know I have Edgar, I'll pick up a noise blaster, a drill, and a flash. Those are typically the only ones that I go out of my way to pick up. But if I don't know that Edgar's coming, I generally won't. So, if our runners saw the noise blaster before they picked up Edgar, there's a good chance they wouldn't have picked it up. And thank you, Dark Falls, for bringing up my struggles. I appreciate it. Because we all need to know about watching a level 3 Psycho Cyan killing Kefka, taking 28 minutes.
It works, though.
It is a guaranteed win. It is the safest Kefka fight you will ever have. But it takes 28 minutes at level 3. Anyway, Drew is showing us that Lone Wolf check. That is not a character, which is good. Drew doesn't really want more characters. And let's see what he gets here. Well, he's certainly not getting the Forged from Lone Wolf. That's not worth it. Have you ever seen something from Lone Wolf be actually worth picking up?
Yes. I actually, I've seen him with some Aegis or some Genji gear that when I was playing, I was probably not as geared. So I actually had to go through the World of Ruin maze to go retrieve that item.
Okay. Drew has he did pick up his own Minerva from the Lone Wolf check and is now doing the Kefka at Narsh battle. Do you think he's going to take any battles here, or is he just going to go straight to the boss?
I like to go straight for the boss. I might fight the first Green Soldier, but if it's nothing that gives anything good experience, I'm just gonna kind of wait to go straight for the boss.
Yeah, this is one of those places that's an interestingly risky place to do some grinding because you don't know what the battles are going to be. But if you find some good battles, it can be a great place to to grind. Ooh, Rav, you gotta work on your diction this morning.
Oh, it's basically a free fight for him. You should have no problem with this.
Absolutely. One thing to note for all of our viewers and our runners of this game, next week's community race is going to be the return of what we called our Router's Relish. We're going to be posting the seed for next week after this one is done, and you will have all week to route it out and find the best route to beat the seed as quickly as possible. So just something a little different for us. We're trying to mix it up a little bit just to keep everything fresh and interesting.
It's gonna be a good time to see what people can come up with. You can definitely play through a seed your first time, maybe take 2 hours, and then if you kind of really fine tune it, you can probably break it down to an hour 15 if you have all your information correct. So it's very, very, very cool way to play.
So here's an interesting thing we're seeing. Both Fraggle and Entity are fighting the Piranha boss.
Mm-hmm.
Mr. Entity's fighting it as the boss of Phantom Train. Fraggle just found it randomly.
And they're not able to escape these battles, are they?
I do not believe you can run from boss battles. The one exception to that would be Ifrit and Shiva when they are changing forms because the flag falls when the enemy goes away, but that's a special case.
So Piranha is kind of is like a time-gated boss, right? So
Yes. It is a random time between, I believe it's 10 and 90 or 100 seconds before Rizzopass will show up. So it could be fast or it could take forever.
well, I can tell you the funniest random bosses I've seen was I rolled a seed where every flame in the burning house in Tomasa, it was Siegfried, and I had to go through all of the text, everything, and it took me like a good half hour to get just to the boss.
That is glorious. And that is why we play randomizers. That's why I play randomizers. I don't want to speak for anyone else. I don't know if anyone else is as, mean as I am.
I was laughing at myself the whole time. I was like, why am I doing this? But it was a good time.
And the Siegfried battle gives you, what, 10 gold?
Yeah, there's no experience gain. It's green cherry, I believe. It gives you green cherry.
Right. I knew it was something that was not exciting. Right, looks like so all of our runners have hit their 3 character requirements, and now they're just looking for espers. I think Mr. Entity is looking for 1 or 2 more battles to give Realm that flare spell. Because once you have flare on Realm, everything's just a matter of having enough MP at that point. You will kill it.
Right. We don't normally see the weekly race community go for the auction house, but because of the requirements today, I'm kind of thinking they might just have to.
Look, I think people sleep on the auction house. The last 4 times I've gone to the auction house, I've gotten the Esper I've needed first or second try.
That's pretty awesome.
I think people are too reticent to do it.
Well, I mean, they've seen that robotic imp so many times, I'm sure.
Don't get me wrong, that's not fun, and it being random is kind of awful, but I do think people are too reluctant to do it. I wouldn't recommend doing it as your first check. But I think if you need just 1 or 2 espers, it is absolutely worth being in the conversation. So Fraggle is attempting that Doom Gaze, and Mr. Entity is leaving that Doom Gaze. I think I would be on Mr. Entity's team here and just not doing that.
Yeah, not quite yet right now, because that's gonna be a rough time to kill that boss.
And Fraggle has reset out as well.
This is where I really, would want to find another character with a lot of checks, like right now, like a Terra or a Celis with the Magitech Factory.
Absolutely. So that's an interesting thing about these flags is that you only need 3 characters, but to get 10 espers, you're going to need to find more than 3 characters, almost certainly.
So there we go. We just found the Celis on the Phantom Train. I didn't see that's where Mr. Entity picked her up.
Yep. And Mr. Entity is now fighting Umaro. Is that just a random encounter, Umaro? Because I don't think that's what was in Esper Cave.
It was regular Ultros.
Right, it was vanilla Ultros. So Mr. Entity is finding some of those random bosses. But with that Flare-on Realm, like I said before, it's a matter of time. Realm will kill. I do kind of love that the youngest character in this game is also the most terrifying magic user. It just feels right in my soul.
Alright, looks like Mr. Entity took down that Umaro, no problem. Hopefully, let's see how much experience he gets from this random encounter. 6K.
5,000. We'll take it.
Oh, he's level 25 already.
And puts on that Moogle Charm. I don't think he wants to do that one again. Yeah, so it looks like right now we have our racers sort of crossing paths back over each other as they are, sort of converging, just checking the same checks in slightly different orders. While this happens, I'm going to remind all of our viewers, please give our runners a follow. All of our runners are quite talented and very, very good at this game and deserve your follow for providing you with an evening's entertainment. Also want to shout out the rest of the Restream team for tonight. Raphalos is our Restreamer, making sure that everything is looking and sounding pretty for you folks. And Franklin is tracking for us, which thank goodness, because I would not be able to keep track of this on my own without him. And also, your commentators tonight are myself, Ravlin, and Vampstar87, so please give us a follow. We would love it.
We love it. So, Drulith is going up against one of my favorite characters of the Final Fantasy franchise, the Tonberries.
The small, vaguely cute things that will absolutely stab you in the throat.
They're the best.
I forget what that particular monster in a boss gives you. Is it the Gradius Pearl Knife? I guess we won't find out because Drew is leaving.
Yeah, Drew's done with them. They have high evasion.
You can get another Minerva from them. So, that's not nothing, but he's already got one. I don't think he needs another. Let's see. Zelfer is now headed down into the ancient castle. I think we've already seen what's... Oh, he almost got by that dragon. There are Minervas all over this sea. At least all of the girls and anyone else who is randomly allowed to wear a Minerva is going to be decked out in defensive gear.
Yeah, mage tanks. That's what we wanna. That's what takes down Kefka. Truly.
I mean, they've got flair. If they can just if they find the quick spell and a gem box, that'll take down Kefka in a hurry.
I don't think we've seen any air anchors yet for tools yet, but we might.
Certainly helpful on phase 1 and phase 2 of the Kefka fight.
So, interesting enough that everyone has their character requirements. I know if I have a full party, I'm probably going to try to stick to keeping that party for the entire siege, because you can just help them grow the whole time. And like 36 to 45 minutes in, that's when you need to like decide like when is your cutoff for adding new characters to your team, you know?
Right. That is another nuance of this particular flag set. Typically, we run with no XP divide on, which means that every person in the fight gets the full amount of XP that the fight gives. So that means on our typical flags, it tends to be better to run with 4 characters, because then you're getting the full amount of XP possible. Here we are not dividing we are dividing the XP. So if you have fewer characters in the party, they get a greater share of the XP than if you had 4 characters. So it is certainly possible to use that to your advantage to change the strategies of what characters you bring. I wouldn't be surprised if Drew finds a 4th character that he in particular wants to use. Could, dump it down to just 2 characters in the party, one to kill some stuff, and that character he wants to level up, and, slingshot that character ahead.
Absolutely. And I believe that's why he's running with only 3 characters right now. And Fraggle's about to come up on their 4th character, I believe. It looks like Mr. Entity does have 4 characters right now. So, fix that.
Yeah. Quick question from chat. The sprites next to the character, or next to our runners, the gold number under the Esper and Terra sprite are how many Espers and characters they need to enter Kefka's Tower. And the white numbers above those sprites are the number that runner has gotten so far. So in this particular seed, they only need to gather 3 characters to enter Kefka's Tower. And all of our runners have fulfilled that, but they need to find 10 Espers before the game will allow them to go challenge Kefka. So that's just how we keep track of things.
So that's a decent shop. We have running shoes, earrings, and experience eggs at the Relic shop in Albrecht.
Be interested to see is he going to pick up a couple of XP eggs?
I believe you already bought some.
Oh.
I don't agree with that move though. I really like beads. I like putting beads on my characters.
You mean running shoes?
No, beads, the evasion.
Beads.
Yeah, beads.
I thought you said Beats, like Beats by Dre, and I was super confused, I gotta tell you.
No, Beats by Dre are great, but I like beads on my characters, and beads and ribbons. That's That's my thing.
I do find ribbons to be particularly useful. They protect you against all status ailments. In the final Kefka fight, you can get petrified, you can get silent, or you can get muted, you can get blinded, and just having that ribbon on means you don't have to worry about it.
Mhm. But sometimes it's good fun just to ignore all your status effects that might be coming up and making a glass cannon character. They're easy to make, but pretty risky.
That is certainly true. And also to those who are watching who might not be aware, this is Final Fantasy VI Worlds Collide Open World Randomizer. This does to Final Fantasy VI, sort of in concept what the Free Enterprise does to Final Fantasy IV. You start off with the airship, and you have the world available to you, and you need to figure out how to gather enough characters and espers to go challenge Kefka and defeat him. I think that was a decent 30-second description of what we got going on here.
Absolutely. We just had Drulith pick up the Esper Shote from the merchant in the woods in Tizen. Ooh, Sulfur might be going for Kefka Narsh. Nope. I think he's going for that
Lone Wolf. Shote is actually one of the espers that, if I have it, I do try to remember to equip it for the final boss, because it can be used to kill one of the arms on tier 1. It's not 100% though, so don't count on it, but it certainly can be done.
That's pretty neat. I didn't know that.
Yes, I believe it's the long arm is vulnerable to instant death and break, and Shote effectively does break on all of the enemies.
Mm-hmm.
So you can clear that out.
So we had a character in Celis' cell. I didn't see who.
It was Strago, and Fraggle has run into that white dragon in the ancient castle. Now, these dragons are not scaled, so they are at their full power. However, if Fraggle can kill this, he is going to gain a huge amount of XP and a huge amount of magic points. But I'm not sure he has the tools to take down this dragon.
Does Fraggle have fixed ice?
I don't know.
Huh. This is going to be a nasty dragon fight.
Yeah. You know, since Edgar has a wall ring on, I think Edgar is able... I don't think this white dragon will do anything to Edgar, because normally the white dragon's in Fanatic's Tower, you only have magic. I don't think he has any magic that goes through the wall ring. But the question is it worth the time?
Well, if he completes this, he'll get a boosted Edgar for sure. Maybe that'll help him in the long run.
Absolutely. And for Solaris Strix there in chat, we've got Ragnarok's, Minerva's. We've got at least one pair of fixed dice. We've got a Magic Power Plus Esper. I think we've got 2 of them.
Got Flare.
Yeah, we've definitely got some decent items here. And in terms of Fraggle being able to kill through the Reflected Pearl's healing,
I don't think so.
Eventually, the dragon will run out of MP. But I think Fraggle realized that it was not going to be worth the wait. you can find yourself in this situation several different ways in this game where it's like, there is no way that I can die to this, but I don't think it is worth the time investment to kill it. If you have a wall ring and you encounter Magimaster, you will... There is no way that you can die to Magimaster. Is it worth the wait, though?
Definitely a long fight doing it that way. So Drillith just found Thunder Rods and picked up 14 of them.
Well, I believe that is one of Drew's favorite strategies, is to break those rods over the enemy's head.
Mm-hmm.
It does a tier 2 elemental spell while ignoring enemy's magic defense. It ignores Reflect. They are just generally good. No, once you have recruited the character into your party, you do not need them in your party to do the check. You just need... the way I think of it is like for Locke in the World of Ruin Narsh. Basically, once you recruit Locke, he teaches everybody how to pick the locks and get into the buildings there. So once you have them recruited, you do not need them in your party to actually do their checks.
You just get to pick which character has the devious smile and wink when you go to unlock the doors. Whoever's in front.
That is true. Looks like Fraggle is taking another shot at this white dragon. He moved the wall ring onto Sabin.
Oh yeah, Sabin's dropping bombs on him.
Yeah, so hopefully that will go a little bit quicker, and also, slingshot that Sabin up to an incredibly high level. Drew is already showcasing the power of those Thunder Rods. That Thunder Rod did 3,000 damage to number 128. I think that is basically the most damage Drew is reasonably going to be able to do consistently right now. And Zelfer is giving us the first peek into Ozer's mansion.
This is kind of surprising that this is the first time someone's walked in here.
That's true. I feel like Ozer's Mansion is one of those checks that has sort of fallen from grace ever since the fixed encounters were shuffled and randomized.
Mm-hmm.
Because before, when it was... when you knew what the enemies were going to be in all of the chests and paintings, it was actually one of the better spots to go just to grind yourself up.
Right.
But now that it's random, God only knows what you're going to find.
It'd be great if they found a fire chicken in one of the paintings.
I really hope so. But again, I'm just mean, so take that as what you will.
Alright, Drillith going through Magitek Factory to the, and finds a Kefka.
That seems appropriate.
I mean, the sprite work's not that off from Kefka.
Those rods just do stupid damage. Particularly since I think his realm has gotten some magic power bonuses from her Esper. So, she's just a massive powerhouse at this point. Both Drew and Zelfer are getting close to their number of Espers. I think it's going to then become a question of, do they have the levels to do Kefka's tower? I think that's actually going to be more of an issue than getting enough Espers for them.
Drew has been using a 3-person team the whole time.
3-person team the whole time. I think he's waiting to see if there's a 4th character that he particularly wants to train up, or he may just go with a 3-person team for the whole seed. I'm not actually sure. Fraggle is still working on that white dragon. You know, I hope that this pays off for him. As I speak of the devil. And there it goes.
Fraggle's got it. Let's see how much experience he gets. 65,000.
I believe that is the max that you can get.
And a snow muffler, not bad. So
And his Sabin is now level 38. Well,
Yep.
Sabin's going to be carrying him through the rest of this seed.
So yeah, he's more than double than any of his other characters.
And takes that XPA Goth and is going to give that to someone else, it looks like. That's true. If he just gets a little bit more XP, that Sabin could get Bum Rush, and that could certainly take care of the offensive option for Sabin for the rest of the seed. The only downside is it does take a minute to enter that command in.
It does, but there's a few different ways you can enter it in.
Sure, but there's only so many ways you can enter in 10 button presses and make it quick. So, Mr. Entity is also fighting the White Dragon, but his characters are all a slightly higher level. So I feel like Entity is going to be able to blaze through this a little bit quicker. Especially since he has Celis, who's able to runic all of those pearl casts to her. Very nice. Drew is fighting some Ogors on the train tracks there. Those are not nice enemies. They are not fun to deal with. I don't think those are the ones that just constantly turn you into a zombie, but they are still not fun.
And now we have a Sasquatch on the minecarts.
Now, the question is this the boss, or is this just a random battle?
I don't know.
That's one of the glorious things about mixing bosses in with random encounters.
That 9600. Was that a fire rod?
I think that was
That
just
was
Fire
Fire
3. Realm is certainly going to nuke things from orbit. As we see that Sasquatch going down.
Now that they have some decent progression on their game, they're starting to get some really nice experience regardless of where they're fighting.
Absolutely. Definitely thought I've done some testing with the progression scaling. I find progression times 3, where the enemies gain 3 levels for every check that you do, to actually be easier than progression times 2, because the XP you're getting ramps up so fast.
It really does.
Drew has found the goddess.
I believe he dismissed a Cyan.
Now, it is certainly possible for Drew to use Psycho Cyan strats at level 3. I would not recommend it. I would recommend leveling up Cyan before you do that. What I'm joking about, if anyone's curious, if you go to my Twitch stream, my latest highlight is how I most recently defeated Kefka in a race setting. It took 28 minutes. It's highlighted. Go watch it.
Just imagine you fought one battle though with that Cyan. How out of that 28 minutes, how much do you think it would have cut it? Probably down to 5.
please don't remind me of my failures. No need to rub it in.
No, I'm just saying it's just interesting to think about.
Oh, absolutely. Or a better weapon. You know, there are lots of ways that it could have gone a lot better for me. But I think that's true of that entire seed. Zelfer is getting real close to having his 10 Espers. He's already at 8. He is ahead of Drew. I'm sort of wondering if it's going to be Drew or Zelfer who's going to make it into Kefka's Tower first.
Drew's gaining some levels pretty quick. He's in the 40 range now.
Yeah, Drew is... I would be comfortable taking this party into Kefka's Tower, as is. So anything else he gains is just going to make it easier. It's not going to, set him back.
Right. Is Kefka scaled in this one?
I'm going to double check, but I do not believe so.
So if Kefka is not scaled, that means Kefka is actually level 71.
And has 62,000 HP.
And even at level 40, we can beat Kefka with the proper gear and the right move sets. But any other extra levels that these guys might get will definitely make it a lot easier.
That is correct. The final battles and the 8 dragons are not scaled in this particular set of flags. Drew has found Rexol. Rexol in these flags actually does use Zinger. So we'll have to see what he's going to do here. Your options are to either kill off your characters one by one, wait for Rexol to come out, attack him then, or if you have X-Zone, X-Zone will just end the battle. But I don't think he has X-Zone.
You know, I haven't seen X-Zone for a while, myself.
And there we go. We've got we found Rexol was inhabiting Satan, and if he's lucky, he'll be able to defeat it in just this one round. But I wouldn't be surprised to see to Rexol inhabiting another one of his characters.
Oh, he's doing big damage to that Rexol. Only a few more hits.
There we go. Did it in one.
Yeah, that was actually a very, very quick Rexol fight.
Huh. Solaris, I didn't know that Cyan's Cleave would actually work as well. I've never encountered that situation. It's another Esper for Drew, getting close to what he needs. And that Esper also has life. Very useful spell to have.
Yes, very, very useful. So Fraggle's going for that Doom Gaze again.
Yep. I have had situations where I have run out of Phoenix Downs. So having that life spell.
Oh yeah.
Helpful.
That's what happened to me my last seed. I couldn't revive my party after Kefka was just wiping them out.
Looks like no one's even going to check to see what lore Strago has. Makes me a little sad that the old man isn't getting the respect he deserves. I mean, with Strago, Grand Train is clearly the best one he has, but there are other lores that are useful. Arrow Arrow and Quasar and Clean Sweep and Aqua Rake are, I think, the ones that I use ever.
Yeah, those. I mean, all the, the hard elemental spells. They're the ones you want to probably use on him the most, because the other ones are either like random based on level, or just have more prerequisites to how the damage actually is outputted. So,
right. I do. Blowfish can be actually very useful early in a seed. If Strago's one of your starting characters, and 1,000 damage is a lot to the scaled enemies, but that falls off real fast.
And also can be really nasty to find one with Blowfish.
Yeah. Fraggle got through the Doomgaze this time and found a Ramuh Esper. I'm sure he's happy to see that. And I believe Mr. Entity is going through Ozer's Mansion now while Drew fights his second statue of Doom.
So this is what I like about fighting the random bosses as random encounters. I don't know if is Doom the actual boss or no.
I'm not even sure where Drew is at the moment, to be perfectly honest.
Okay, so even whether it's a random encounter or a boss, some of these bosses at the end of the game drop really nice items, whether they're being stolen from or just being dropped. And they can definitely make a huge swing to your strategy. So, like some bosses drop like Force Armor or Ragnaroks or Excaliburs. If you happen to find a particular area with bosses like that, and you can drop them pretty quickly, might as well fight a few more.
There are a lot of ifs in that statement, but yes, I agree.
Right.
If you can find them, if you can drop them easily, then yes, I'm on board. But also, if you're not expecting it and you're not prepared, it can be real rough. So let's see. Entity is currently making his way through Ozer's Mansion and has found those enemies from Fanatic's Tower. They can be very, very dangerous. They have lots of very powerful magic and can just cause you lots and lots of issues. But he has a Celis with Runic, which is going to mitigate quite a bit of it, so... I'm also noticing a lot of our runners using Realm's Sketch quite a bit. Far more than I've actually ever seen before. Is this a new up-and-coming strategy to take advantage of Realm's ability to mimic the enemies?
Really sure. It is a good way to practice with and learn all the enemies' abilities if you don't know them yet.
Right.
I don't really have I don't have very good experiences with Sketch. It usually doesn't hit for me.
True. And to be fair, we have fixed the sketch glitch here. That is one of the flags that we have turned on, so it's not going to randomly completely screw up your entire save file.
You mean no sketch warps or anything like that?
Not to my knowledge. That doesn't mean that you can't find some way to exploit it, but I don't think you will. Drew getting through a set of tentacles at Doma Castle. He is 2 Espers away from Go mode, and he will be in true Go mode with the levels that he has going on here. Zelfer is only one Esper away, but he's a little bit behind in the level department. So I would be a little bit more cautious if I were Zelfer trying to go for Kefka's Tower at this point.
Yeah, but he's got some power, though.
This is certainly a high-powered seed. Power level is not something I'm worried about. It's just making sure I have enough, HP and MP to get through the fights.
Mm-hmm. And then they have that Golem.
Golem and Drew just found Fenrir as well. Double layer of protection there. Didn't Drew already do the Magitech factory, or is he going back to buy more rods?
He's probably going to go back for more rods.
Drew, you are nothing if not predictable. And I say this with all the love in the world. Double earrings on Sabin and Realm. They are going to be doing huge amounts of damage. And then his Edgar is dual wielding a Ragnarok and a fixed dice. Yeah, that's okay. They'll do. And it looks like he is selling everything. He
Oh. Yep. Was that 39? Did he get 39 of them?
Something like that. For a second, I thought he was going to go back and sell the Minerva for another 7. I wouldn't put it past him. Looks like Mr. Entity just talked to the auction house, but then didn't engage the auction, so I didn't get to see if there were Espers available in the auction house. Zelfer just went and picked up Bum Rush for his Sabin. And I believe Fraggle is now doing that lone wolf check, trying to find some more Espers, but I believe he's only going to find a Minerva or something up at the lone wolf check. And both Drew and Zelfer are on the hunt for that one last Esper, the one final one to unlock Kefka's Tower. And Drew is going to be showing the power of those Thunder Rods even more, as they are doing 6,000 and 9,000 damage apiece. Whew. That is certainly nothing to sneeze at.
Oh, definitely not. Big damage.
Do we call that big rod damage?
Big damage.
And if I remember correctly, I believe this will give him the Esper Ramu, which means Drew should be in go mode now. And I think it's pretty safe to say that Drew will be making pretty short work of most of Kefka's Tower. While that's happening, Mr. Entity is giving us our first look into the burning house. Checking that out. He's given us a little bit of a different set of checks than most of the other runners, because he found Celis before he found Edgar. So is finding these things in a slightly different order. So Drew just grabbed Mog and Strago. And I don't know why. Is he going to give them some levels? No, he just gave them Moogle Charms. I'm quite confused. Do you have any insight into what Drew might be doing here?
Really? I mean, these low-level characters, I mean, I would just use them for Phoenix Down fodder, just in case, you know.
Did he just send 2 level 3 characters on their own to the 3rd?
That's what it looked like.
This is either some Galaxy Brain strat that I cannot figure out, or something weird is going on here.
I'm not sure.
I suppose it's possible that this Inferno spot is going to be a free boss, and if it is, then he can make sure that this party would then only fight one more boss still. I don't know. I'm still, I'm very intrigued at what's going on here. He's also switching party members around who's the leader, which I do know has some effects on some possible glitches. So I think Drew might be trying to execute a glitch here. Okay, Drew, are you just skipping all of Kefka's Tower? I think he just skipped all of the statues.
What?
It has something to do with that tense mess with your map marker position. I don't fully understand, and then it doesn't update properly when you switch your party leader. It has something to do with that. Like I said, I don't fully understand it, but that is effectively what he's doing. He is able to warp his party members here. And one of the interesting quirks of this, aside from the fact that it keeps leaving behind surprised Sabins, is that you don't actually need to hit the 3 separate switches. In the game code, I believe it is all treated as one switch that you have to hit 3 separate times with 3 separate parties.
Huh.
Again, my understanding of this is very limited based on what I've watched from some vanilla speedruns and how broken things can get. But I was certainly not expecting to see a glitch showcase here. Yep, see, he managed to get all 3 parties on the same tile, on the same switch. And he is going into Kefka.
Great. This is great stuff, though. Um, we never specified whether you could or couldn't do this, so I mean, that's kind of on us.
To be fair, I believe this is the first time I've seen this happen in a race setting. It has not come up before. I believe there will be some community discussion on
They ended up being pretty stacked this season.
All right, and that is GG from Mr. Entity in 5th place with an official time of 2 hours, 12 minutes, and 4 seconds. GG to Mr. Entity. And he is going to join us for a chat as well. And now we are going to get to watch Fraggle finish it up for us, bringing it home. And we are joined now by Mr. Entity with a final time of 2 hours, 12 minutes, and 4 seconds. And he just left. Now he's back. Welcome, Mr. Entity. GG. Well played.
Thanks. Yeah, I had a little headphone issue there, so I had to leave that.
No worries. I was just in the middle of talking, and then you were gone, and I was confused.
Yeah, that seemed pretty fun. I mean, I definitely messed up the start, but I went into that not having practiced the flag set at all, and just kind of scrambled like mad throughout the start, and my brain wasn't working, apparently.
You did really well, Mr. Andy. It was very entertaining to watch.
Yeah. Absolutely. Certainly was a fun seed to watch. And anything in particular stick out to you as notable or different?
Mostly the difficulty in that one for me was finding gear. I spent quite a lot of the game with nothing, and then wound up with like 3 Minervas and a Ragnarok at the end. So it eventually turned around, but the start was a bit harder than it usually is.
Yeah. What do you think of this this particular flag set that Drew's been sort of piloting for us?
Well, that was my first playthrough of it, as I said. So from that, all I really got was, wow, starting with no equipment sucks. Especially when you can't find anything like... There was like nothing in South Figaro that was useful. There was nothing in any of the easy chests that was particularly great. All the good gear came much later on.
Right. Although later it did seem that I think we saw 3 or 4 Minervas across the 4 runners on stream.
Yeah.
I had 3 Minervas on the 3 people who could use Minervas, and no Minerva on the one that couldn't. So I was fine with that.
But yeah, it seemed after a while it just was sort of like, have some gear.
Yeah, and it started throwing like level 3 spells and stuff at me. So at the end, I was stupid overpowered and probably could have gone to Kefka's Tower sooner. But you know, it took me a while to find the Espers mostly.
Mr. Andy, you might want to just for fun, you might want to just roll back the playback and check Drulith going into Kefka's Tower. It's pretty interesting, to say the least.
I'll probably watch it back. I'd like to see what other people were doing while I was screwing around making all the wrong decisions at the start.
Well, he didn't kill any bosses in Kefka's Tower.
Yeah, none at all. Just Kefka.
How do you not kill any bosses?
You use a lot of tents.
Oh, he did some glitchy nonsense.
And used a lot of tents.
Yeah, I disapprove of that.
It was definitely entertaining to show off.
Yeah, I've seen that tent glitch done before, and it's used for like speed runs and stuff, and is, you know, personally for my taste, exactly the kind of thing I don't want to see speedrunners do. I'd rather them just play the game really well.
Sure.
But I'm kind of in a minority on that one.
I mean, if we're talking in terms of speedruns, I think that's why there are different categories of speedruns. You know, I'm a big Final Fantasy VI fan, as sort of evidenced by my existence here. If every run of Final Fantasy VI ended with tent glitches or sketch glitches or the game over glitch, I'd find that really boring. But I do find it interesting to see, at least once, crazy things you can make this game do.
I find it interesting done once. Like, the most egregious example I can think of this is I watched at an AGDQ once a dude do an Earthbound speedrun, and he literally had a binder of all the stupid things he had to do to make sure everything was glitched exactly correctly.
Mm-hmm.
And that was neat to watch once. Never gonna watch it again.
Right. So yeah, like I said, I think it's definitely interesting to find and to know about and to watch. But it's also not everyone's cup of tea, so that's why there are, people like Puexel who run glitchless Final Fantasy VI.
Yeah, there's tons of different categories for basically every game.
Right.
Yeah, and usually I don't mind if it's just if you're in a category and whatever, but in a race like this, I think we might need to determine whether stuff like that should be allowed.
Yep. We'll be having some sort of conversation after this.
And that's kind of why I brought it up. I'm sure we'll have a community discussion very soon on this, but it's like I was telling Ravlin earlier, this does seem to be one of the more kind of relaxed races, at least the Saturday stuff. If we wanted to make sanctioned ranks races or whatever, we'll have those rules in place. But I kind of feel like we kind of jumble the Saturday races around, so there's a little bit more a lax feeling to what we're doing here.
No, I'm never that super concerned about what's going on, as evidenced by the fact that I don't practice. But there were leaderboards put onto the Discord at one point. We've just never used them.
Yeah, I never really figured out how to use them myself.
Yeah, I think that was Marth's baby, and he doesn't exist anymore.
Well, I'm sure he exists, just not around us.
A baby and have no object permanence.
That was a deep cut psychology joke there.
I know some things.
Anyway, back to the seed. Fraggle is on tier 2 of Kefka, so I think we should bring our attention to him, unless you have anything else you want to add, Mr. Entity, to your thoughts about the seed.
Not any more thoughts about the seed, but tomorrow is my final charity stream of the 4-Job Fiesta for this year, so anybody that might want to come throw a buck or two my way to give to Color of Change, the charity that we're doing it for this year, tomorrow's going to be your last chance. I still have prizes to give out. They're not all gone yet.
Absolutely. I recommend you guys go check that out. It's a fun stream and definitely a good time and raising money for a good cause.
Well, as usual, thanks to everyone who did all the stream stuff, and thanks to Atma for continuing to be awesome.
Absolutely. And Mr. Entity has just reminded me that there is one very important person who we have not shouted out yet, and that is Atmatech, the developer of this randomizer. Thank you so much to Atma for not only creating a randomizer that we all love, and we all love racing, and we all love playing, but also for helping to cultivate a fantastic community of people. So I am absolutely remiss for not shouting out Atmatech earlier in the stream.
That's why I try to bring it up whenever I'm interviewed or doing the things. People sometimes forget about the most important person.
Thank you for showing me the error of my ways.
No problem. Anyway, you guys have a good rest of the stream, and thanks for everything.
Thank you, Mr. Entity. GG, well played.
Thanks for stopping by, Mr. Entity.
All right, and now we are on to Fraggle on his tier 3. Girl is already down, and he is chewing through sleep like nobody's business. You can see Celis is equipped with those dual Valiant knives, and she is doing, I believe the phrase I'm looking for is stupid damage.
Big damage. Big damage. Eating Meteos. Not good.
Nope, but I have a feeling that there won't be much longer for this guy left. He's going to go down pretty quickly here. Because remember, every HP that Celes loses is another damage that he takes. Although hopefully Celes doesn't go down here. She doesn't. And then Golem eats the Calmness, and we are up to Final Kefka. I do have to say our 4 racers have been sort of nicely spaced out for us to be able to give some attention to each one of them as they have done their final boss run, which was actually very nice for us as commentators. So thank you, racers, for being so kind and spacing yourselves out nicely. Also, we are going to see the power of these Valiant Knives once Kefka does Fallen One, because it will make those Valiant Knives very, very powerful. Then that sort of does, raise the question of, do you heal up Celes, or do you just, have her do as much damage as possible before she goes down? So we just saw a desperation attack from Celes, which I actually think means that she did less damage than she would have otherwise. Normally, desperation attacks are really cool and really rare and generally do a lot of damage. But sometimes they're not what you want.
Nope.
As we finish this up, do want to give a reminder to everyone here to please give all of our runners a follow. Drew, Zelfer, Mr. Entity, and Fraggle are all here. They put on a great show for us this evening. So, be sure to give them a follow to thank them for entertaining you for the last couple of hours. Please also be sure to give a follow to the rest of the Restream team here. Franklin on tracking, Raphalos on restreaming, and then myself, Ravlin, and Vamp here on our commentary. Finally, if you are not currently part of our community and would like to join it, please do check out our Discord. That is the place where we do all of our organization, where we meet together, etc. So please join us there. We look forward to seeing you and absolutely want to see you join us here. And there we go. Fraggle with the GG at 2 hours, 25 minutes, 29 seconds. Let's see if he wants to come chat with us for a second. He is going to join us. While he joins us, I hope our restreamer can move us over to the splash screen after we read this comic coming from Fraggle. I am not 100% sure I get it. Anyway, we are joined by Fraggle. Welcome, Fraggle. GG, a very nice time of 2 hours, 25 minutes, and 29 seconds.
Thanks. That's about my average on these flag sets when I haven't had a dumpster fire of a seed roll. So I'll take that.
Very nice.
Thanks. That's
anything
about
in
my
particular on the seed stand out
these
to you
flag sets
as
when I
noteworthy
haven't
or
had a
interesting?
Finding the Valiant knife for sale right at the beginning. It was like, okay, that's my plan for when I get enough money. It was just keeping people alive to get enough money.
Absolutely. I did notice one good thing about the seed was that it showed off different strategies for how to defeat or how to like go through and defeat the enemies along the way. You went for a Valiant Knife strategy. Others went for magic. Others went for other attacking weapons like Ragnarok, etc. And I really liked that this particular flag set and this particular seed allowed for that diversity.
Yeah, it's when we've all been playtesting them, everyone's been going about it different ways. I usually try not to use the likes of rods. It's just my preference, but in playtesting I found, hang on, I'm needing to break rods to get the ball rolling. I mean, for this seed, it was that lucky Pale Dragon kill, which sent Saban to like level 38.
Yep.
So that it was just okay. You're carrying the rest of this now.
And I mean, Saban holds up a collapsing house, so he certainly has the strong enough back to carry the rest of the party along.
Oh yeah, and if anyone hadn't seen it before, I even got a desperation attack in there.
I did see that, and actually, I think it might have done less damage than if you had just gotten 2 swings with the Valiant Knife.
Exactly. I was pasted by Fallen One, and then out of nowhere, desperation attack. It's like, I'm sure the Valiant Knife would have done that damage with 1 swing. But it happens.
It does. Vamp, do you have any questions for Fraggle?
No, I just wanted to say you did very well, and your time's not a bad time to be finishing a seed. I mean, in comparison to a vanilla game, I mean, 2 hours compared to 30 or 40, awesome. You know, that's why I love these randos. But it's always a great time to watch you, Fraggle. Seeing all these different strats is always good for Ravlin and I.
Oh, thanks. Most of the time, I just wing it.
Well, we like watching it.
Cheers.
Absolutely. And so once again, thank you to all of our runners for giving us a wonderful few hours of entertainment. Thank you to the rest of the Restream team, and thank you to Atmatech for developing and nurturing this randomizer and this community. And I think that's all I've got from me. Any last words from you, Vamp?
No. Everyone should come out and check out this great game if you haven't before. We love seeing new people. We're seeing new names in every race that we create right now. So the more the merrier. We'd love to have you in here if you haven't been in here yet. So this was fun, Revlin.
Yep. And if you jump in and join us and have no idea what's going on, we've got a bunch of guides that are written. And if you just say in one of our chat channels, hey, I don't know what's going on, there's a bunch of people who will absolutely jump in and, help you through your first seed or, talk you through what's going on. So join us, and we hope to see you here soon.